Hi everybody, W.S. Quentin with Sinopa Publishing, aka Sam Quentin, writer of The Steel Road, and I want to share a very important update with you. So, today I picked up the proof copies of The Steel Road. So we're going to go over those, and a few other things I want to talk about if you got time. This is going to take a few minutes, so I hope you'll stick with me. So first of all, this is The Steel Road in the soft cover. So if you like the soft cover, of course, who's getting print-on-demand codes gets codes for both versions of this as well as both versions of the hardcover. Anyway, I think you'll agree it came out looking really nice. We'll go over the interior here in a few minutes. Now, with this particular one, you probably noticed there's a little cut on that. I think that was done when they were packing it, or maybe when it came off the press and it was stacked somewhere, what have you, because it's a real fine little cut, like with a razor. It's not. I don't think it's a printer defect. I think it was done after the fact. So I don't foresee any problem with soft cover at all. Okay, so the hardcover, again, same cover model. We have that in the black and white interiors also. With the hardcovers, what I like to do is I like to put this border around it, and it comes up, but on this particular sample, it only comes up on the edge. And so I went and I checked the file, and the file measures out correctly. And so I think what we have here is just an early print defect particular to this book. Because when I look on the interior, the bottom, whoops, let me get it where you can see it. The bottom line here isn't too high up, really. It's pretty kind of low. Whereas this one runs all the way down, where that's been stretched down, and then the backing laid over it. So I think it's just a defect unique to the particular book. Because I've done that with the books for the Tarot series, and every once in a while I've seen that, not very often. I think it's literally just a one-off. So I think we're good to go ahead with the print fulfillment. It is September 10th, which makes this project, as of today, 10 days late, which is horrible. I'm really sorry about that. When I put in the estimate that we would have fulfillment done in August, I was really anticipating having it done in July. But as you've seen, there have been unforeseen complications, as there so often are when you're trying to get a book together. My computer blowing up being one of them. That was unforeseen. Real bad. But I'll go ahead and get those print-on-demand codes. Start triggering those. I think I'm going to trigger those tonight is my plan at this point. It's 10:15. And I've been handling a few things around the house and trying to make sure everything's caught up before I made this video. And the first time I tried, I had a horrible audio failure, which is why we have the headset on. So, lesson learned from that. I'm going to make a little official announcement. Since I'm expecting fulfillment to be done here in the next few days, I'm going to go ahead and finalize the Kickstarter launch date for Whispers of Persephone. We're going to launch that on the 22nd. Which, technically this isn't really a part of the Steel Road update, but I had a few people who said I should probably give you guys a heads up about one, when that was going to launch, but two, a couple of the backer levels that we're going to have. As with the Steel Road, we're going to have a dedication level, and it's the Necromancer level, basically named after the main bad guy, talked about so often in Whispers. That backer is going to get a dedication in the book, but we're also going to use an image of that backer as a basis for the illustration that's used to illustrate the Necromancer, him or herself. And either one is completely cool. I would really like just to see who. I really can't wait to see if anyone's going to actually pledge to that level. Because if we get a guy, that's great. If we get a girl, that's great. It kind of makes me wonder about the tone of that particular part of the book. which is written. It's just I have to go ahead and change the pronouns around from the gender neutral he she to he/she that's standing in right now to he or she, and then we get to kind of see if we have a bad guy or if we have a mistress of the dark. It's kind of a I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean it just kind of affects the art and things like that. And then we have 12 Acolyte of Death backer levels, and these are the inner circle of the Stygian necromancers. Those characters get defined as characters in the book, and we're going to name them after the backers who pledged for that level. They show up as NPCs. They don't get illustrated, but they do get named. And then probably going to go ahead and have the backer choose his race and or her race, and then go ahead and just take it from there with the writing. They'll get developed as characters in the book with full NPC stats and all, which is going to come out to about 2 pages because it's the book format is in print is 6x9, and so it's going to get a lot of page time really if you think about it. But they'll also have little comments throughout the book attributed to them, the necromancer, and then this last neat backer level we're doing is for fallen heroes. There'll be a small number of heroes referenced in the book. These people who rose up to combat evil, to save the lives of the less fortunate, and who, of course, lost, were defeated soundly, and died miserably. These fallen heroes, little excerpts, things that they've said, entries from their journals, stuff like that, make their appearance in the text, and I've sprinkled that throughout the book. Right now, the book is in the third and final phase of playtest, and I'm expecting that to be finished in October during the Kickstarter itself. And then with that, Christian is going to continue working on art. He's completed several pieces, as you've seen. But we need to fund remaining art, because no one should work for free, really. And I'm not going to ask him to. But as we get funded, he's going to go ahead and be generating the remaining pieces for the book. With what he's done so far, it won't have anywhere near the art that Steel Road does, but it's all color, all full color illustrations. Most of them were done digitally. One was done as a painting and then digitally enhanced after the fact, and that's that ritual sacrifice image that we've been using as a promotional bit for it for a while now. It's a gory book and is not meant for children. So, that's I think the safest way to put it. It has a lot on blood sacrifice, a lot of ritual sacrifice elements, whole lot of ritual sacrifice elements. The spells that are detailed in it are designed to reek of evil and to have a very strong tie to necromancy. There's a couple of other spells in there. There's some divination in there in particular, but it's some gory content. And I'll go ahead and paste a couple of images into this update so you can see what I'm talking about, because otherwise we won't have art since everyone already has the Steel Road. But so I've done my due diligence on that. Let's go ahead and flip you through these pages real quick, because again, it's a big book, the Steel Road, 126 pages with 100 pages of it. Terrible. 100 pages of it being weapons. Alright. So, a few people who really did a lot of work here. Zach Viola, who did all of the art, including the page background art. Pat Lee, who did the editing and corrected some of my grammatical errors, things like that. James Lee for art direction, helping us solve some art problems that we had. Great job, guys. This book wouldn't be the same without you. Since we didn't have a backer who pledged at the backer level, I went ahead and had Zach write a dedication for his folks and friends and family. Okay, so shh, don't tell anyone. It's a secret. They don't know about it yet. Let's just keep it between us. And of course, a quick thank you for all of you, because literally couldn't have done this without you. Our playtesters include people who have used some of the elements in their campaigns, obviously, and then people who have looked at the game mechanic impact, like Bill Rowlett and Mike Smith, and people who have looked at the overall thematic elements like Henry Handy and Michael Tiravani, people who have looked over the art, and that's a lot of folks here, and just generally made great contributions with their analysis of the book as written throughout its different phases and some of the elements that we were working to achieve. So these people really did a lot, and I'm very grateful for each and every one of them. They've been fantastic help to help make sure this is the best quality book possible. And some of these are some of my dearest, oldest friends as well. So really, really thanks, guys, for stepping in. All right. So, as we can see, and I know you've seen it in the file, my camera doesn't do justice to this, but it came out really, really sharp. Let's see if we can get in there and get a little more. It just came out really well. It looks really nice. The whole book kind of has this feel to it with that background art. So it really does look like an old weathered journal that someone's been sketching in. And the font is big enough too that it's pretty easy to read. But as was mentioned in the Kickstarter and brought up, if you are concerned about being able to read it against this background, that's why we have the black and white version, which everyone's getting as well as far as the files go for the Crown Domain codes. That'll come on out, and you'll have that so that you can get it without the background on it, so it's easier to read if you have any types of concern about the legibility. I mean, just some really great stuff here. Of course, it's 8.5 by 11, as was promised in the Kickstarter. And some of this art by Zach. I mean, really, all of this art by Zach is just amazing. It's funny to me, though. For example, this is one of the first pieces he did, and it was the one that really helped set the tone of the book itself. But it's funny to me that I can sit here and flip through pages and like I just skipped 8 pages. I just keep flipping, and it takes so long to get through. Turns out 100 pages of weapons, plus their associated accompanying pages for your chapter lead in stuff and other images. It's just, it's a big book. It's a big book. Alright, there we go. Pacific Islands. A little nod to our friends in New Zealand, the Maori. Yeah. Doing this one-handed is not treating me well. A little nod to Australia and the Outback. And then our epilogue and our old friend Yosef Khan, as he's older. I want to thank you guys who have had feedback on the epilogue. I know it wasn't expected. I added it to kind of tie the whole book together and to try and make it feel like it was very intimate with the people who were reading it. So I hope you enjoyed that. The required open game license material, and then artist biography. For those of you who haven't backed one of my projects before, I'm a very big believer in promoting the artists who are making these books possible, and so I always include their biographical information in there so that you have that data. And then for those of you who haven't backed one of my projects before, and those of you who have in the past know this to be true, I'm a big believer in making sure that you can actually read who the backers were. So we don't use 8-point font. We use something more substantial so that you can actually see who it was. There are so many of you who went the extra mile to share links on social media, who commented in the comment section, people who have really done so much to help spread the word. And there's so many of you, I really couldn't do justice to pick people out and say that. I've thanked several of you in an open letter I put on my blog. And a few people that come to mind right offhand, the fine folks at Arcania's Workshop, of course the Darkslinger comic guys, the Venture Maidens who shared our stuff around, the State of Nirvana podcast who shared our stuff around, Miguel, Locke, Tom, Shane, Jacob, Mickey, Daniel. My goodness, there's so many of you guys who really put in the time and helped spread the word, and you really helped to introduce this book to so many of these other folks. Andreas, thank you. All of you for all that you've done for this. And I'm not trying to single anyone out. I'm just trying to make sure everyone knows that they are definitely appreciated. All right. Well, update went a little longer than I expected. Sometimes I talk too much. Sorry about that. And I know that when Susan sees this, she's going to laugh. One of my oldest, dearest friends, she's going to laugh. But it's time to get the fulfillment going. So with that, I'm going to finish this recording, get it posted up in our update, and get to work sending out those Prone Demand codes. I'm going to try to have that out tonight. It's now 10:28. I'll post comments to this particular update so that everyone will know once the actual totality of the Prone Demand codes go out. Because most of the backers pledged at the PDF plus Prone Demand code levels, so they get the copy too, and that's completely cool. Because this is a heavy book. It's a heavy book. I don't know. Give you a size idea. It's about a finger thick, but since finger sizes are so very different, one common U.S. penny, and so it's yeah, it's not as wide as a penny, but it's very substantial. 126 pages. It's got some heft to it, and of course it's what you help make happen. So thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will update further as need be for the fulfillment process. Like I said, I expect it to be done in a few days. And I hope that if you like The Steel Road, you'll take a chance and look at Whispers of Persephone and help that book happen too. And help spread the word. And I appreciate everything that you guys do to help that. So thanks again. Time for me to get back to work and get those Prone Demand codes out. Good night.